I love when a design goes through the whole case, giving a unified looks, and this comes with this side panel, front panel, well, this bottom part. Then you have the same thing going here on the power supply shroud and here at the top. This is ANTEC C2M addressable RGB, which supports micro ATX motherboards. No back connect support, unfortunately, but that's still okay. And then what you get is a 3-fan configuration already pre-installed, 2 reversed 120 addressable RGB on the side, and one 120 here at the back. The cool thing about unified design, as I mentioned here, side, top, and the top part as well, we're having the same thing on the fans, but that's barely visible, but just giving you an idea. So what's it all about with C2M addressable RGB? It supports a 360 radiator, it supports quite long graphic cards. You can go with micro ATX or mini ITX motherboards. Now, the power supply shroud has loads of space, and when we're talking loads of space, you have enough space to put fairly long power supply and even reroute the cables at the bottom, giving you a nice, let's say, cable management organization. The same thing goes with the Velcro ties, because you have 3 at the back, you have a possibility to reroute the cables on the side for EPS, but this time, and this is most likely the first time, I decided to pull all the cables or push all the cables through the middle, including the EPS, having only one routing for the cables, giving it a quite nice and organized back. Now, in the power supply shroud, you have a possibility to mount hard drives or SSDs with special rubber grommets that you mount with screws on top of the hard drives, and then they are just slide in. That's it. That's fairly simple. Now, for the visual aspect and the minimalism of this case, it extends to how you access it, because the side tempered glass is on 2 pegs, the front tempered glass is also on 2 pegs, the top part is on 4 pegs, and the side steel plate of the back part, which covers the back part, is also on 2 pegs. So it's practically, well, basically it's true, it's completely toolless disassembly, which means that the only thing that you need a screwdriver is for the main components. So for the graphic card, motherboard, radiator, or whatever you want to go with, for the cooling of the processor, and of course the power supply. Sadly, we're talking about a case that doesn't have an anti-sag bracket for the GPU, which is kind of right. You can always go with something like this. I bought this smaller one and a bigger one. They are kind of poles that can extend from Amazon, quite cheap, so you could go with that. And then you have this opening, which is quite strange because you don't have any fans on the power supply shroud or beneath it, which in another scenario it would be really good, because then you can get additional intake for the GPU, which will definitely result in a better thermals. Regardless of that, this case is $59, which brings us to the point where you have a minimalistic visual aspect, because it looks really nice and I'm really digging it. Very easy installation process, and the one thing that you might be thinking about is, does this top part flex? No, it does not. If it flexes, the whole chassis flexes, okay? And you really need to push it down. So if you remove the front and the side tempered glass and this plastic part that is kind of for the ventilation, and it has a dust filter at the top, it flexes the whole case, but you really need to use loads of strength to do that. In general, when you see this type of case that doesn't have a pole here holding this top part, usually this top part is actually really flexible. And I think I mentioned that in the past video. This one is surprisingly quite good. So even when you place a radiator and you remove all the side tempered glass, you place the top plastic mesh part, and then you decide to mount the tempered glass on the front and on the side. The top part isn't flexed at all with the radiator mounted, so the tempered glass goes in quite nicely. So when we're talking about practicality and installation process, it's also quite easy and straightforward. I actually really enjoyed building inside this case. Now, the downsides, what I can say is that, well, we're talking about $59 case, right? So when you take just the case into perspective, the case is outstanding. But the fans are actually really loud. Well, I wouldn't say really extremely loud, but they are louder than your other fans that you can acquire just to get some sort of a normal price, performance, and decibel range. These are priced low, performance okay-ish, and then you have the decibel range going a bit higher than usual, which could be potentially annoying. In that sense, what I would suggest, I mean, if we're talking about $59, you're definitely saving up money to install other components and give much more budget for the other components, right? And in that sense, you're gonna figure this out when it's in idling or when the thermals are not really high or you're not gaming. You can lower down the RPMs, it will still be outstanding. But if it goes to a certain threshold with the temperatures on the CPU, if you, depending on what you configure in your BIOS for the RPMs, and for the graph, of course, they will definitely speed up and push the decibel range really high. But that's the only negative thing, or so to say, about this case, because everything else just looks brilliant, and the only thing, this is more like an aesthetics. You can't place a fan over here or beneath it, and which would, as I said at some part of the video, it would definitely benefit the whole airflow. So let's go through some specifications. The fans are PWM controlled, and you can connect the lights through addressable RGB 5V 3 pin, which means that you can synchronize everything with your motherboard, which is definitely outstanding. Now, the visual aspect, when we're talking about the inner part of the case, is brilliant because you don't have a pole in the middle. You have tempered glass, so 270-degree full view tempered glass. That's outstanding. The only thing that this opening here on the power supply shroud makes sense is that the GPU can collect air through that. So the intake can go from the side, front, and at the back, because the back side is perforated for the side fans and for the power supply and the whole bottom part, which can definitely give a bit better airflow through that ventilation grill. The side fans are a different story, so they're not 2 times 120, they're actually 240mm single frame reverse fans, which brings us to the point that it's a single unit. The performance is 114.53 CFM, and they spin from 800 to 1500 RPMs. At 1300 RPMs, they are getting a bit louder, so the noise at maximum is 30.4 decibels. For the radiator support, you can go on top with a 360 and on the side with 240, where the side of 240 reduces the GPU length up to 280 millimeters. The total length with the regular configuration of the GPU is 450 millimeters, and then we go with the cable management depth at the back. It's 3 centimeters with 3 Velcro ties. Power supply maximum length is up to 225 millimeters. You have a support for one 3.5-inch hard drive and one 2.5-inch SSD, which is located behind the motherboard. And then finally, the maximum CPU cooler height is 165, so nothing above that will fit inside this case, which is also quite important. And then finally, the minimalistic design extends to the I/O panel. We have one USB 3.0, one USB Type-C 3.2 Generation 2 10 gigabits per second. We have a combo 4-pole headphone microphone jack, and we have a power on button. So basically, as I said, it's a minimalistic case, $59.99. You get that 240 or two 120 fans on the side with reverse one at the back. And I mean, we had past cases from ANTEC that they were much quieter than this with the fans, but okay, it's 59. I would say that's the borderline. If it was any more expensive than that, these fans would definitely be suggested to go out of the case. But since we're talking about $59, I think this is quite alright. Let's move to benchmarks. So AIDA 64 Extreme Edition, what we have right here is AMD Ryzen 9 7900X3D paired up with PNY RTX 5080 Virto Epic X. We're having AIDA CPU goes up to 90 degrees, which is a bit higher than usual, specifically in this type of chassis. Then we have the clock speed at 4725 MHz, and the GPU sits at 64, which is actually really good considering that there's only intake on the side fan, so there's no intake from the bottom, but apparently this opening here does tend to help. Moving forward with Cinebench R23, we have 10 runs, and average thermals out of those 10 runs is 77.4 degrees with the clock speed at 4973. That's quite solid. There's nothing left to add, so yeah, that's really good. And then we go with Cinebench score, which stacks it up quite nice, 26,614. So when you take into consideration AIDA64 Extreme Edition and the system stability test and everything all together, the thermals are quite high. But when you move to Cinebench and you only focus on the CPU, you get outstanding score, specifically because we have Skeleton 360 adjustable RGB here cooling down the processor. So in general, you do get quite solid thermals, except when it's excessive on all segments of the build. Then it will definitely boost up. But in general, what I can say is I'm quite satisfied with the build because of the price, because of the visual aspect, because of the quality and material in terms of that price tag. Because if it was 179 even, this would be a different direction inside the video. But since it's 59, it goes into that budget segment with a visually appealing case, quite nice access to everything, great cable management options, easy installation process, and actually quite nice enjoyment in general. So I would say, yeah, just to clarify, this does deserve still a PC Crazy approved badge. Not because I haven't given ANTEC for, I think, quite some time an approved badge or anything similar to that, but in general because the price is okay for what you get and you still have the enjoyment of building, because there are other cases that are in the budget, you get some sort of fans, but then the whole process is kind of strange. So if you're interested in this type of stuff, you can always check the link in the description below. Now, do tell me, would you go with something like this in the budget segment and still go with a huge graphic card that will, well, as you can see, perform quite nice in sense of having regular normal thermals and not overheat or anything similar to that visual aspect? Or would you actually add more budget to your chassis just to give, I don't know, more storage, more ports, an ATX motherboard in that case? So yeah, do tell me that. What would you go first? That'll be all for today with the C2M addressable RGB. If you're new to the channel, first time checking out the videos, it will mean a lot for you guys to subscribe, hit the like button, and click the notification bell so you don't miss any future content coming right up. Thank you. Bye bye.